Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, I'm Cherisa Applehunt and we're here with REMAX Capital Properties and we're live.
I'm Chayse. Today we're going to be diving into some things that we all deal with at this time of year, some real estate, some non-real estate related items. We're kind of going to go over daylight savings, fallback, how to prep your home for that, and then how to also handle buying and selling during the holiday season.
Yeah, I mean, coming in on fallback for, it was just November 2nd and a couple days ago, and I think about what can we do to remind ourselves or like remind our buyers, sellers, my niece, what do you usually do like during the fallback to kind of get going, getting ready for the winter?
Yeah, I feel like this time of year is always like a good time to kind of reflect on stuff that we don't usually remember to do throughout the year. So a big one that I kind of think about a lot is changing out your toothbrush. That is something that is easy to forget and kind of an important one because it's pretty gross to keep using that same toothbrush. So just replace it. If you have an electric one, change that head out. If you have the handheld ones, just go ahead and switch it out. Give it a rest.
Probably need to get mine and my daughter's some new toothbrushes. I also think about just clockwise fans. I mean, obviously I don't do this. I have my husband do it, but where's your fans? Are they going clockwise? Because that's going to pull the heat back down. We're going to want it to go the opposite way in the summer. So coming into the winter, coming into the fall, you need to have your fans going clockwise. And there's a button on it. You just switch and we'll get that set up. So
that's so crazy because I never knew that. I think my fan has always gone the same direction. So you need to get home and do that. Another one I have is changing the direction of your mattress. So like flipping it, rotating it, so you're not just wearing that same lay spot on your mattress. So
yeah, I'm terrible at that because I love my spot, so I don't want to switch with my husband.
Yeah.
So I guess I will probably go home and have him switch our. The honey toothless is gonna get going for sure. I don't know. I just think about walk around your house. And really think about when's the last time your batteries have been changed in your fire. I mean, we all been there where the fire alarm is going off at 2 a.m. because there's no way that it goes off during the day. And so I just think that's something that I hate doing in the middle of the night and trying to figure out. So just making sure when you walk through your house is your fire alarms, your batteries change out in them. I think the biggest thing too is walking outside. We have an AC unit. Do you cover your AC unit for for snow, or you have something to put over it? I think about, I have chickens and ducks and all the things, and so are we undoing the faucets? And our hoses are not attached. Everything's about to freeze. I mean, usually it is frozen by now, but
air filters. Yeah, like you said, unplugging the hose, all those things.
Yeah,
important to remember.
Important things.
Yeah.
I know. I know that the biggest thing that we notice with being on Horse Creek, sometimes we lose power, and so I have littles, so I always have like a backup area where it's like, is there batteries in the flashlights? Do you have candles? Worst case, if big storm's coming, is there obviously gas in a generator? Those kind of things. So I think the biggest, thinking of fallback and getting ready is really preparing yourself for winter.
Yeah.
And obviously, the next thing is obvious holiday season and coming up for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I think those are big, getting ready for those ideal moments.
Yeah. The last one I have, I just would say going through those condiments in your fridge and canned goods, like who knows how long that mustard's been sitting in the fridge. It expired in probably the 80s. So if it needs to be thrown away, just chuck it. And I would say for canned goods, if it hasn't expired, there's a lot of food pantry things going on right now. So if you can, donate those, put them to good use if you're not going to use them. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that because that's what we're needing right now in the life that we have. Well, let's talk real estate a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, right now with the holiday season, it's been a topic. It's always a topic. Is it the right time to list? Is it the right time to buy? And so I think that's the biggest question right now is, what's your thoughts on buying into the holiday season right now, Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Yeah, I think that, a lot of people have that question in the holidays, like, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? I think it actually really is a great time to buy and sell, just because in general you're going to have less competition either way. A lot of people, have a lot going on in these months, getting ready for Christmas, getting their house ready to have family over or to travel to see family, or getting gifts and just getting all sorts of ready for the holidays. So a lot of people do end up waiting, which means that if you don't wait, you're going to have a lot less competition when it comes to buying and when it comes to selling. So there's going to be less houses on the market, and for those motivated buyers that are looking in the middle of December, you're likely to get them. They're not going to have as many houses to look at, and they're going to be wanting a house. So I think in general, less competition. And I also think it's just a nice time to make the house really cozy. You're going to have those Christmas, winter scents, the wreaths, the snow, the fireplaces are going to be going, and it just makes for a good ambiance with showings and everything. So.
I mean, I love the good smell of walking into pine, like a Christmas tree or cinnamon. I don't know. I think that reminds me of that cozy house. Having a fireplace on, it really kind of goes into that. So I think it's a great time to buy. I think it's a great time to sell. It just really kind of goes back into what's their time frame and what's their schedule really look like.
Yeah. So what would you say it would look like if they were to wait after the holidays? Would that be good, bad?
Yeah, I mean, how I truly look at it is I'm here whenever you need. I'm never going to, it's your choice of what that looks like. And so I think after, holiday, after, Christmas and after the new year, I think you have a lot more buyers if you're going to come into the buying pool. I think about taxes, you're going to, that opens up a whole different pool of people. They're not having, earnest money, those things to really think about. And so I just think about if you're wanting to buy in the next 6 months, right now it's a great time to buy, great time to sell, because it is that, like you said earlier, it's that competition, less buyers in the pool, less sellers are in the pool. And so I think being, ready for that coming January, February, you will have a lot more buyers. You'll have a lot more coming into that. So yeah, I think that's something to think about. I also think about, obviously, weather. We live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And you got to consider that some of our worst weather is always after Christmas, it seems like. Mm-hmm. And so that's the cold wind and the snow. And so, really just planning that out and having that, knowing if you're moving in January, you're moving in February, you're probably moving in snow. Yep. So.
Yep, they're going to get a good, view of what Cheyenne looks like if they don't already live here. So it'll be good. How would you prepare your buyers and sellers for that week of the holiday if they're really motivated to buy or sell? What are some things you would kind of walk through with them?
Yeah. So I think I'll probably break it down a little bit on if I'm working with a listing, right? So if I'm helping a seller sell their house, I think the biggest thing we would start on is going over their schedule. What's their schedule look like? I mean, that's a lot of the questions I would probably jump into. Are you gone? Are you here? Because that's the biggest factor. I think about if they're here for the holiday season, we're really going to have them set up of what's that exactly date look like. So are you having Thanksgiving at your house with family and friends? Because I can tell you that the day after Thanksgiving and that Saturday after Thanksgiving, people are serious when they're ready to see houses. They're serious if they want to see the house on, they're going to look. Their family's in town. They're going to want to go and really move towards that house. And so are you going to be able to have the house ready to show? And so those would be good conversations to have with them. Are they going to be here during Christmas? And if they're not, then, can we open on dates on open availability to show on those days that they're gone? And so I think that's a big conversation starter with those. I think the next probably thing would be really just asking them, are they okay with people coming in, and preparing them? I don't know, what's your thoughts on working with a buyer on those weeks?
Yeah, I think kind of like you said, setting those expectations, like this is what we're looking at. There's a lot of people involved in this process, and during the holiday season, everyone has their plans. And so we just got to kind of understand that it might end up being a little longer. Like, I know you're motivated, but we have, you know, the buyers and sellers to keep in mind, their schedule, the real estate agent, the lender, the title company, you know, there's a lot of people involved. So we really got to go through the schedule and, you know, just prepare them for that. I think a big one too with buyers and going through that process is really giving them a good idea of what costs might look like, especially at this time of year, because, you know, you're maybe traveling to go see family, or you're having people over to your house. Christmas time, everyone's, you know, buying gifts. It can be an expensive time of year for a lot of people, especially with everything going on right now. It could just be tight financially. So I think it's important to, you know, talk about earnest money. If we are going to be putting in an offer here soon, that earnest money is going to be due pretty quickly. And that, you know, is based off of however much you put down, but there's that. And then also inspections. So you're going to be having inspections done in the next couple weeks. Those are usually on the buyer to, you know, purchase based off of whatever they want inspected. And that's another cost that we're talking. And then if we do come to closing, you know, your down payment and everything. So it's just, I think, important to really go through the process so they're not blindsided with like, oh, wait, I have to have how much money available? Like, that was what I had set aside for, like, Christmas gifts and stuff. So,
well, and I think too, if you're using a local lender, that's why it's so, I mean, as agents, we love to be able to work with local lenders and really having them paint the picture. We don't want you to go buy a car. We don't want you to go open a credit card. Yes. But, you know, that's that lender to be able to have that conversation of helping them, guide them through that. And so that's where I'm really thankful is, you know, we have some amazing local lenders that can be able to help with that kind of transition. But if you think about it right now, we work in the 45-day, the 30-day closing, the 60-day closing. Well, today, if you go put an offer on, 45-day closing is December 20th. And so when we're talking schedules here, we're talking, you know, a lot of it is working with the buyer. Do you want to have the Christmas in your new home? Or are you going to, you know, move out the day after Christmas? So I think, you know, working backwards on good closing dates and what that looks like. Do we want to put in an offer where it's after closing? And so I think those are big questions that I think working with a buyer, working with a listing, you know, a seller, and having that upfront conversation, you know, now, and will help prepare for what the future looks like, you know, that 45-day closing, that 60-day, those kind of things for sure. Here I do have a question is, what happens if it's vacant? What if, you know, you have a listing as an agent and it's vacant through the holiday season? What's some expectations, you know, that you would maybe think about, you know, presenting if you're working with a seller that they're gone for the holiday season and their house is vacant?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to make it really nice for showings. You know, you don't have to worry about, you know, working around the seller's schedule and all that. But some things to keep in mind with just having a vacant listing, especially at this time of year, is making sure nothing's freezing. So, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm done with this house. Turn off all the electricity and all that. But definitely want to keep that on. Keep making sure that no pipes are freezing. Like you said earlier, making sure those hoses aren't connected, you know, making sure things are locked up and everything. So definitely need to, like, it's not just a vacant listing. All right, now it just sits. It's definitely something you want to keep checking in on. Yeah. Making sure everything's good, nothing's going south while you're not keeping an eye on it.
Now I'm going to switch it. What's your thoughts on decorating? I mean, as we're listing and you have a Christmas tree up, so you know, do we go all in and you decorate the whole house from top to bottom? I mean, that's a hard question to ask. A hard question.
I think it's probably, you know, every agent has their thoughts on what you should do for decorations of Christmas and everything. I would say for me, my recommendation would just be trying to keep it as basic as possible. But, you know, still making it cozy and festive. But if you are listing right at the beginning of December and you have all your decorations up and it looks super cute and Christmassy, but then it doesn't sell, and we pass Christmas time and we're in January and all of our pictures are still, you know, Christmas tree and wreath and everything, might be time to retake some photos. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a little tricky. I think once again with vacant listings, it's a little nicer because you can always do the virtual staging, which is kind of a big thing right now. So you could just have some photos that are just, nothing there. And then you can also add in a Christmas tree and kind of make it cozy and make it what you want. So, yeah, I don't know. It is.
I joke around with my husband all the time and says I'll just keep a Christmas tree up all year round. And then I'll just put when it's Valentine's Day, I'll just throw hearts in it. When it's St. Patty, I don't suggest that. But it could be a great selling point for someone.
Yeah.
So if you see my husband, let him know that I deserve to put my Christmas tree up. So, no, I think we kind of touch base on that. I think we got to really consider right now through the holiday season, there's a lot of options. And I think finding a real estate agent and really asking them and not being afraid to be like, I want to have Christmas in this house. I want to have Christmas in my new house. Can you help me with that? And that's our job here as real estate agents. And what's nice is we are here to help you. And so if you paint a picture of what that looks like, we're going to do everything in our power to make that, to make it work. Mm-hmm. It's just, as a buyer and as a seller, we're here to kind of guide you through that process. And so we're going to talk through every option. And I think those are some of those that we touch base on. But anything else you feel like through the holiday season that maybe you felt like you wanted to touch base on?
I mean, in the way of real estate, I think that's pretty much it. But let's get into some fun stuff that's not real estate related. What are your plans for the holidays? I know you have your two daughters, your husband. Do you guys have any fun plans? What does your Christmas and holidays usually look like?
So if you would ask my husband, he would say that we just do everything. So we actually are. We're going to go see my in-laws in Colorado. So we're going to go down there for Thanksgiving, and then we stay home for Christmas. So Elf on the Shelf shows up sometimes with the kids, and we get the Christmas. We try to do all the parades and all the fun things, the Christmas concerts. We just try. Christmas is my favorite time of year, and so you can try to catch me in December at home. I love it. So I like to bake cookies and do all that. But I think honestly, I just probably will be in Cheyenne, unless an adventure comes up, and maybe we'll change on that. What about you? I know you're newly engaged. So what's that look like for your holiday this year?
A lot of his family is in Florida, so we don't usually go. I mean, I like having the snowy, cold Christmas. That's my Christmas. Not really,
the warm
beach vibes for my Christmas personally. But so yeah, I think we'll be staying in Cheyenne, spending some time with my family. Possibly going to Christmas tree hunt. Yeah.
Yes, you do a real Christmas tree.
Yes, I'm a real Christmas tree kind of girl. I know it's not for everyone because it is messy. And I will say I don't do most of the work, so it's easy for me to get a real Christmas tree.
I think that's a good question to ask. How many of you guys do real Christmas trees?
Yes.
Or are you someone that does the fake Christmas tree?
Yeah.
It's an argument in my house because I don't take care of it, but I clean up after. So I love the smell of a new brand, real Christmas tree. But I have a beautiful fake tree. So and the lights are already on it. So
yeah, that is really
nice. And it's clean. So I think that's a question I would ask is, are you a fan of real or fake?
Yeah.
So
that'll be interesting.
Let's, kind of think about before we close up. I love to share events that are happening in Cheyenne. So what events are around here that are starting so that you want to share with us a little bit?
Yeah, a few that I have, I kind of touched base on it a little earlier, but there's a bunch of food pantries around right now. Kind of hard times for a lot of people, especially military and civilian employees who are not receiving paychecks right now. There is drop-off locations for specifically this F.E. Warren food pantry here at REMAX. There's one at Affordable Roofing, Double H Home Loans. There's a few places that you can drop off, some cans, boxes, it's really helpful during this time, and would be really great if you are able to donate. Please do. There's also another one called Feast of Kindness. It's running from November 10th through November 15th. Some drop-off locations for that: Walmart on Del Range, Green Top Roofing. So there's a bunch of places to drop stuff off if you are able and willing. We would all really appreciate that. One that we really like, an event that is every year, the Nutcracker over at the Civic Center. So that's always really fun for us. It's always fun to see, you know? I don't know why it's always the same thing, but it's just special, you know?
Yeah.
It's great. So this year it's on December 5th at the Civic Center, so get your tickets.
I personally, I'm excited because we do Merry Mondays, and that is starting on November 23rd here, and REMAX does it, and so it's amazing. We have the cutest elves. You have to follow along, so if you want more information, dial in. We can get you some of that, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I love Merry Monday. It's one of my favorite things that REMAX Capital Properties do, because they go out, they go throughout our community, they get everyone involved, so it's a chance to win some money. So if you don't know what Merry Mondays are, you need to, because it's an awesome way to give back to our community. And then my personal favorite is the parade. And this year is Candyland. The theme is Candyland, and that is going to be on November 29th. It starts at 5:30. It's right after Thanksgiving, so dress warm because it's usually really, really cold. Bring your hot chocolate, and just come enjoy and watch it. So, but again, thank you guys for having us.
Yep. Thank you for sitting with us and chatting about all the real estate stuff.